So thank you for taking the time to visit and learn about buy and sell agreements and the mistake that I find a lot of employers make, and that is by not funding the buy and sell agreement. You know, the buy and sell agreement is a contract. There's a liability. At the death of the participant, the surviving members of the company have a legal responsibility to pay off that note, to get the stock transferred and pay off the heirs of that stock. So I'm going to talk about what happens when you fund a buy and sell agreement and what happens when you don't fund a buy and sell agreement. So what we're going to talk about today are the mistakes with a buy and sell agreement that business owners make. And the one thing I would like to show you is the buy and sell agreement is a binding contract between the interests, the contract interests. And it spells out what's going to happen when there is a transition of equity in with the holders. These transactions we call triggers. We use that word, but the triggers could be death, disability, voluntary or non-voluntary exit, divorce, a bankruptcy, retirement, and in some situations, other situations, depending on the group. But it's spelled out in the contract. And what I've seen over the years is a lot of boilerplate contracts, which is not something that's not going to fit everyone. And in most cases, the boilerplate doesn't fit anybody because everybody's unique. There's a great book out, Buy and Sell Agreements, the Last Will and Testaments that your employer will need, or business owners will need, by Paul Hood. Check it out. It's on Amazon. It's a Kindle and a hard book. It's a great book, but it teaches business owners about buy and sell agreements. So there's a couple of ways of paying for a buy and sell obligation. One is the cash flow. One is take a loan from a third party called a bank or the company. You can use cash from the reserves, and you could use life insurance. So we're going to go over these three areas. Now, you'll notice that in this particular illustration, I used a value of $1 million, but then I went out 10 years with the company growing. So you always have to be aware of the fact that you might have a buy and sell agreement at a certain price today, but what happens in 10 years from now when the company has grown? So we did that on the illustration. And you'll notice a couple things. We used a cash, loan, sinking fund, and life insurance. So let me explain. The cash is just taking the cash and buying out the partner. That's costing $1 plus opportunity lost on the cash. A loan, you notice that's $1.6 million. And down here, I use the interest rate at 5% for 10 years. Well, that's costing $1.30 overall to fund the liability. The sinking fund, you see $1,080,000. That's 83 cents on the dollar because I'm earning some money as I put it away. However, on a sinking fund, you're really saying, I'm going to earmark a certain amount of money, put it away, and hope that I build enough money so that when the trigger occurs, I got the money. Well, what happens if the trigger occurs much quicker than you built up? Well, now you're back into either using cash, a loan. But the last one and the most affordable, as you'll see, is life insurance. And when you look at the life insurance, I use the life insurance policy that would go to age 80 or 85. I can't remember, but I funded it with that premium. But you'll notice that even though this is what the premium costs, we're looking $1.2 million, you'll notice that right here, when you take a look at the brackets, this is the least cost, and it's 21 cents on a dollar versus these other costs. And this is really a funding for death, because really, if you're funding for retirement, you have to come up with the money somewhere. Although I would say that I use term insurance in this situation just to show everyone how very inexpensive it can be. Term insurance is the least expensive on a cash flow basis. However, over time, it is the most expensive. That's because the premium goes up and there's no equity offset, and it actually looks the worst on your books because you have an expense but no offsetting equity. Permanent life insurance would be the least expensive because not only do you have a premium that's higher than term, but you have an equity element that you can post and offset the cost if you're using a lifetime use on your books, even a yearly book. If you put in a premium, but then the cash value is 90% of that, that's still cheaper than term. But permanent life insurance does more than just looking good on the books. It lasts. I don't know how many clients I have that bought term insurance thinking 20 years was a long time, and now we're in the 20th year, and guess what? They still have it, and now they have to make a change. It's like wetting the bed. You got to get up and change the sheets. Well, these premiums 20 years later, compared to where they were years ago, are much higher. So permanent life insurance can really help you with the living benefits because it creates a lot of cash, which you can use for the buyout. I suggest that you take a look at your buy and sell agreement, and if you are not funding it, just take a look at it. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. You can reach me at the contact information I'm going to leave. But in any event, please take a look at it because it's very, very important. It is a liability. And with term insurance costs so low nowadays, you could actually fund it on a very inexpensive method, at least temporarily. So thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it. Always enjoy having you visit these videos. Thank you. Also, don't forget to grab your copy of Unlocking Your Business DNA, a book I wrote a couple years ago about building a business and getting a lot of time off, enjoying your business, and being profitable. And all the profits of the Unlocking Your Business DNA book will go to the Wounded Warriors or some other veteran organization. Buy the book. There's great stuff in it, stuff I used over 53 years to help other business owners along with my own practice to build, create, and protect. And last but not least, if you have questions or you would like to know more about how we help business owners plan, you could reach me at tperrone@necgginc.com. That's tperrone@necgginc.com, or call me at 203-530-6615. I'd love to have a conversation about building and protecting your business worth. And also, I have a number of videos to share with anyone who would like to grow in their business and learn more about running a business and protecting it. So thank you once again for taking the time to listen to this video. Have a great week.